starting with Mr. McLean.
Oh, thank you, officials. Mr. Forbes, I recognize you're new in the job for 1 month, so I don't mind if you defer some of these questions to your colleagues that might have more detail that I'm asking for here. Grants and contributions from your ECCC in particular, up to $1.23 billion in this year's estimates versus $577 million in 2021, more than a double as far as grants and contributions go. Would you say this is a lot of overspending going into a lot of new programming?
No.
Okay, good answer. Thank you. So you're talking about your department going up by a 42% increase. You're talking about the impact assessment agency going up with a budget increase of 38% over this year versus 2021. And Parks Canada, paltry 11%. So I don't know how Chrystia Freeland, Minister of Finance, is going to balance a budget if even the organization such as yours is going up by such egregious amounts at the end of the day. I guess the proof will be in the telling there, but let's get into the numbers here. Canada's International Finance Program, $6 million in 2021 and $45 million this year for international finance. Can you tell us what's going into Canada's International Finance Program grants and contributions?
I might ask Linda to take the detailed question.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for the question. So the grants and contribution for the International Finance Program is mainly to help the developing countries to adapt to the climate change and build that resilience within their own countries. So this is where we have that funding.
Yes, thank you very much. So at COP26, developed countries committed $100 billion to developing countries, and you're saying that this $45 million is just one drop in the bucket towards that $100 billion that developing countries are going to contribute?
I mean, the broader Canadian commitment is $5.3 billion out of that one.
Over what time frame?
It's over 5 years.
Okay, so it should be, accrual would give you about $1 billion plus a year?
So that would largely and almost entirely sit with Global Affairs Canada.
Okay,
Would be the
so at a time when we're vastly overspending in this country and we're running deficits at supposedly full employment, we're going to continue to spend more money on international commitments around the world. We're going to increase this deficit?
The spending commitment is $5 billion over 5 years as part of a global commitment to hit $100 billion US dollars.
All right, thank you. More on this, the low carbon economy fund expands from $243 million to $666 million this year. Can you briefly go into why that is increasing at more than a double, if you will?
The program was renewed, I believe it was announced in Budget 2022 at an expanded level with a broader kind of mandate. So there are, I think the minister mentioned this in his remarks, there are 3 or 4 streams. There's some money that goes to provinces for bigger projects. There's some challenges.
Is it accomplishing anything at the end of the day as far as greenhouse gas reductions?
Well, the program was launched, the Revitalize program was launched in Budget 2022, so I wouldn't have any information.
And likewise, the Canada Nature Fund, well, Conserving Nature goes from $430 million from 222 years ago, so again, a double. Would you put the 2 billion trees program under this Conserving Nature program?
I think that largely sits with Natural Resources Canada, the budget for the $2 billion tree program.
Okay, so this 2 billion trees, the cost of those trees isn't in this Conserving Nature part of the budget here, part of the estimate. So thank you very much. The other questions I would have are, the publication of your reports. I know one of the things in here, one of the items that's indicated in the estimates is the minister's ability to engage consultants. And these consultants are not necessarily giving the advice that the government needs here. And I had the Deputy Minister of Natural Resources in front of the Procedures Committee. And effectively, he said that they're making up the numbers. He said he could not provide where they're getting the sources on their triple your department's estimates on the reductions in greenhouse gas emissions from the hydrogen economy. I would like to know which consultants you're using to get all of your data that I find highly suspect.
I might answer the question a different way, which is, we get our data would come from a number of sources. It depends what we're talking about, but I think the minister mentioned we have, for climate change data, for example, there's a UN-approved process. It's scientifically collected
Yeah, okay.
and reported
Let
nationally.
me drill a little harder than
We're
that
out of
here.
time here.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll go to Mr.